Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now, since we are on the Yoga Sutras, and I don't think this is a lecture, please, this is a satsang. So let me explain the opening mantra we started with today, just now, before going into the text. You would have noticed that there are three words which occur commonly in all the three slokas except the last. And those slokas are saha. The word is saha. Saha na vavatu. Saha no bhunaktu. Saha viryam karavavahai. Then no tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. This is the mantra. You would have chanted it many times. Everybody knows the mantra. It's actually good. So, I'm so happy like this. Oh, I cannot imagine. At least the spine is straight. And the snake is happy. Yeah. So, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karava. Saha, the word means you and I. Or you can say I and you, but better to say you and I. Sahana Bhavatu, may you and I be protected. You and I, not only me, not only you, but both of us together. So, it's a sloka of participation that we are both now sitting for a dialogue, which is a samvad, where you and I pretend to be ignorant and are learning together. See this? And now, sitting when you want to learn something with the idea that I don't know is a wonderful thing. Because ultimately, the essence is when nothing is there except yourself in blissful. So, all other things are actually additions. So, when you sit saying, the Upanishad says, he who knows not knows, and he who knows, knows not. It's a big statement. So, which means you're clearing your mind, and we are sitting together trying to learn something. Now, why do we need Om Sahana Bhavatu? May both of us be protected. From what? Protected from vagaries of nature. Suddenly there is a cloud burst or a earthquake, who knows? The earth is unpredictable. So from physical danger, also from other danger, like somebody suddenly opens the door and creates a problem, physical danger. The other is, I don't get enough food, so I'm starving, and therefore I can't sit and listen to what you're saying. This is physical danger. So maybe we protected from all this. Also the mind. May the mind be protected from being distracted, from being carried away by outward circumstances. May I put my entire attention, you and I, on what is being discussed. So, the next one, Sahano Bhunaktu, may both of us be nourished. Nourished physically as well as nourished in mind, mentally. Both are required. Then, Saha Viryam Karavavai, may the vigor, the vitality, virya, in you and me increase. But not only for me, also for Saha Viryam Karavavai, may the vitality and virility and the energy in you and me increase. So even if you keep chanting this mantra continuously, all these things happen. Because the mantras were made in those days, or were heard in those days, not only for the meaning, but for the effect to take place. Each sound has its own importance. So, saha viryam karavabhai, tejasvinavaditam astu. May tejas, the spiritual glow, glory, the spiritual fire of tejas, glow in you and me. Last, ma vidvisha vai, let us not fight with each other. A wonderful thing to be hung in the parliament corridors. Ma vidvisha vai, maybe not fight with each other. You know, there is a difference between an argument and a dialogue. An argument is the choral part, vidvisha. That means you believe that this is correct, and I believe this is correct. What dialogue can you have? You're proving your point, I'm trying to prove my point. This is called vidvisha. The difference is the fight, the argument. A dialogue is samvad, where you and I are on equal footing. We are trying to listen to each other. Look at the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is supposed to be the supreme reality in human form. Okay. Arjuna is not. But how is the discussion going on? At least till chapter 9. Both are on equal terms almost. Even when Krishna says something, Arjuna says, please. Now, don't say that. I cannot do it. You go to the 6th chapter where Krishna says to Arjuna, so develop a mind like a flame when there is no wind. Steady. Arjuna says, come on, call it off. I can't do it. This is a dialogue because they are good friends as well. Almost same age group. Known each other for so long. Also happens to be brother-in-law in some way. Yeah. So he says, listen now, I can't do this. He says it is easier maybe to control the wind, but I can't keep my mind so steady. So it's a dialogue, samvad. Of course, after that, things change because Arjuna begins to realize that the man sitting in front of me is not normal, is not ordinary. So then, but till then, he said, okay. So this is the sloka we started with. So no quarrel, okay? Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta, Advaita. No quarrel here. Yeah. This is yoga, darsana. Okay. Oh, I left this here, is it? What are the ways to obtain restraint and dispassion, right? And how to make the mind quiet? How do we achieve it? How do we go about it? Sutra 20 says, one of the ways of achieving this fact, this state, is Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna Purvaka Itaresham. That means those who have faith in the practice. It's like this. You take Kriya today. 3 days you practice. Then you say this is not working. Why? Because you have no faith in the practice. Practices take a long time to work. Abhyasa takes time. It's not done in a day or two. In fact, Patanjali himself says, Nairantariya Abhyasena, regular practice is essential. So then what? Then you do something else, take up something else. How many days do you do? 1 week. Then you give it up. Then you take, this is normal. One person came to me and asked for a mantra from me. I said, okay. I knew his name. So I said, when you were a boy of 8 years old, your dad whispered a mantra into your ear, right? You know that mantra? Yes. So why are you asking me for a mantra? Because I don't practice it. Why? My dad was not such a good guy, you see. So I didn't like the mantra. I lost faith. I said, that has nothing to do with it. So he chanted that only for a few days to make sure that everybody saw him doing it. He gave up. Okay. Then I said, then what? When he came to me, he's 45 years old. Now, then I went somewhere, and somebody gave me a Shiva mantra. I said, what mantra? He gave me Om Namah Shivaya. I said, wonderful. So now you're 45. No, sir. Then, after 10 days, I found it not so good. So I gave up. So then I went to somewhere else and they gave me a mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So how long did you... It sounded too long and complicated. So after 3 weeks, okay, now what? Then I went to a great Vedantin. He said, Aham Brahmasmi. I said, now I cannot teach you anything. Because you are the Brahman. Aham Brahma. This is how it is. So that kind of practice won't help. So, those who have faith in the practice, when you take a practice, do a great deal of thinking. Don't jump and simply, it's not window shopping. The more one brand, then another brand. Examine thoroughly for some time. Then if you really think it helps you or appeals to you, then only you take it. Then once you take it up, practice regularly for a long time. That means faith in your practice. Nobody can practice for you. Don't commit the mistake of saying, Sri M, I am surrendered to you, I am not practicing anything. Do I practice for you? There are some people who say that, I know. So, so faith in your practice, in the abhyasa. Then you need a lot of energy, which means one-pointedness. You need, the mind by nature has the quality to wander. Bring it back again and again. Don't give up. Don't say, oh, this is not for me, it doesn't work. I'm not talking about only Kriya, I'm talking any practice. Bring it back again and again. Especially for a person who is going into deep, abstract levels of thought or trying to go deep, it takes constant practice to bring it back. Because the mind is accustomed to, duality. It doesn't like to sit quiet in one, without moving. It likes to engage itself. So bringing it back is not. So there are many techniques and mantras by which the mind, but constant practice is essential. So first, faith in practice, which is called Shraddha here, Virya, enough energy to practice. If you have exhausted yourself in 101 things, you don't get energy to practice. Then, here Smriti does not mean memory, it means mindfulness. To be mindful of your daily actions and daily life. No? Like I aim for the absolute truth. 24/7 I tell lies. How is this working? So mindfulness. Well, if you're a lawyer, sometimes it's necessary, but but if you're a lawyer or a politician, well, allowed. That you, but no, there are very truthful lawyers. Sorry, huh? So it's like that. So be careful in your daily life what you're doing. Then, such people who consider all these points that were put forth move towards the superconscious state of samadhi. And once in samadhi, wisdom dawns. Then you can say, well, You are a wise person, you have touched samadhi, some samadhi or the other. It could be just the beginning of samadhi. It need not be the final nirvikalpa. Or nirvitarka, whichever you want to call it. Now, for this to happen, these are the rules and regulations. There are also others, like Ishwara pranidhanat. Ishwara pranidhanat va. That means also. Va here means also. Ishwara pranidhana. Now I have to stop and explain a bit to you. I told you that the concept of Purusha. Now, when you say samadhi in the terms of Patanjali's yoga, it means where the mind has become completely quiet, free of all fluctuations. All the vrittis have been removed. Chitta vritti nirodha. Such a mind no longer is a mind. It's not the brain, definitely. And that mind, you can use another word for it, is Purusha. When you say Purusha here, it doesn't mean male, mind you. Stri Purusha, not like that. Purusha here means the unsullied original essence is Purusha. Right. Now, according to Sankhya, this can be attained only through constant analysis, going beyond the tattvas and so on, and beyond the gunas and so on. However, Sankhya also mentions Ishwara. Now, the Ishwara of Sankhya is completely different from what we conceive of normally when we say Ishwara. Here it means the ancient repository of all wisdom, which is omniscient. That's all. To that Ishwara, you cannot pray, you cannot speak in Sankhya. You cannot do anything. But it is the absolute ancient repository of all knowledge that you can even think of or not think of. And it is omniscient. It knows everything. There is nothing that is not known to Ishwara. But whether that Ishwara can be contacted, surrendered to, discussed, Sankhya is silent on that. As Buddha became silent when asked. That Ishwara. Now that Ishwara again is in Sankhya similar to the Parabrahman. Now the Parabrahman or the Supreme Reality in Vedanta, you cannot pray to the Parabrahman. How? How do you, something which is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and also in the ultimate essence, your own essence, can anybody talk to it? Or you can, to Saguna Brahman you can, but not to the Nirguna. You cannot. In Sankhya, Ishvara is like that. But in yoga there is a difference. When Patanjali taught the Yoga Sutras, which is part of Yoga Darshana, one major distinction he made in the concept of Ishvara, that while it is true that the Ishvara is omniscient, is the repository of all ancient wisdom and everything, all that is true, but the human mind can surrender to Ishvara. He made that difference. That Ishvara, saying that it is absolute, I cannot touch you, reach you or talk to you, but I surrender to you because I cannot talk to you. Look, suppose I decide tomorrow, I'm going to become silent. I will not talk to you. You ask me 100 questions, I will simply say, horrible. But suppose I say that. But many people will stop coming then. What is the point? This guy doesn't say anything. Or they may sit for long, they may have some good feelings, they may come back to sit down, maybe. But they will not have and involve me in a dialogue, discussion, because they know this guy is not going to say anything. There are two kinds of people who become silent. One is the person who has touched the silence of the Supreme and says that there is nothing to say. The other is the ignorant person who doesn't want to open his mouth, because if he opens his mouth, only blunders will come out. There are two kinds of people. So, it's wiser, isn't it, to just keep quiet? Somebody will say, Sir, Swami, that the ultimate Brahman. Nothing. So, I'm not talking about Ramana Maharshi, who didn't. He talked where necessary and kept quiet where necessary. So that's a different story. Anyway, so what did I say last? Anybody? You never went back to Canada? No. Oh, okay, tell me, what did I say last? No, I said that Patanjali moved off a little bit from the Sankhya and said, yes, that Ishwara, with the repository with omniscient, omnipresent Ishwara, which is no form, of course. You can conceive of a form, but can also be surrendered to, which means a personal relationship is established. Because of that philosophy, this Sutra 23 says one of the ways of achieving the samadhi and kaivalya and being free of the disturbances of the mind, the fluctuations of thought, is by surrendering to Ishvara. Now, we cannot even imagine what Ishvara is. So, if somebody surrenders to Ishvara Pranidhana, how do you surrender? Saying that my knowledge is limited, I am a limited human being. There is this unlimited Ishvara with the repository of all knowledge, including moksha or kaivalya. Therefore, I am surrendering myself to. Now, through that act of surrender, what happens if it's truly so, not to a human being or anybody like that, to Ishvara, what happens is the mind automatically becomes quiet. There's no more thinking and trying to analyze, it's done. Now, this is not something that happens because I am defeated, but because I find that there is no way out. If I can practice the first, like Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, and so on, and won the game, okay. Suppose I can't. What do? I surrender to Ishvara. Ishvara Pranidhana. Also, that is why Va is indicated. Also is a way of coming to that state where the brain becomes free of. Now, this is not a small thing, okay? Don't say, now this sounds easy, so let me do this first. Not easy. Surrendering is not such an easy thing. Usually we surrender only what we want and keep what we don't want to surrender. When you say Ishvara Pranidhanatva, it means to be totally saying good, bad thoughts, good thoughts. Everything is being surrendered. Now free me. It's not so easy. Don't think that these are easy solutions, but they are solutions. After teaching the whole of the Gita, in the end, the last chapter, Krishna says to Arjuna, Sarva dharman paritvajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshekshami masuja. Surrender all your actions, activities, thoughts, everything to me. Think only of moksha and then you are there. But why is it said at last? Why can't you say that in the first? Because it's not possible. One has to become mature enough. You are still starting from hole 1 to hole 2 to hole 3. You haven't reached the 18th hole yet. So keep swinging till your shoulders ache. Get what I'm trying to say? So, this is also one of the ways, if it is truly done with complete dedication, Ishvara Pranidhanat also is possible. If you can combine with the others, it will be even better. Now, how do we Now, the 24th Sutra is a short description of Patanjali on who is this Purusha or what is this Ishwara that we are surrendering to. It is a distinct Purusha. In a way, all are Purushas. This is a distinct Purusha, untouched by afflictions, actions, fruitions, or the residue, nothing. It does not follow any laws of karma. This Purusha, who is called Ishwara, it's eternally free. To such a one, the mind surrenders, the brain surrenders, saying, look, this is the last I can do. Now here, take it. If this happens, it's a wonderful thing. That's why some people in ancient times, some of the great saints have just surrendered to their deity and said, now you keep good or bad, I have done. But it's not so easy. I would suggest that you should look at all the different ways of approaching. Come to Ishwara Pranidhana at the end only. In the beginning, it won't be real. That's the whole problem. You know, once when I was with Maheshwarnath Babaji, I told him, Babaji, one day I thought this is a shortcut. So I said, Babaji, I have totally surrendered myself. Totally. He looked at me. He said, Sach bol rahe ho? Bilkul sach bol raha hu, Babaji. We were sitting somewhere in Rajasthan, in Jaisalmer. There was a big well there, a dry well but very deep. He said, go and jump in there. Babaji, why should I jump in? He said, just now you said you have surrendered. Again you are asking me why. If you have surrendered, why would you ask me? Then he said, Balak, you young man, think before you speak. Socho phir baat karo, he said. I said, okay, Babaji, all right. So that, anyway, actually that day I surrendered in my mind, but that distinct Purusha is untouched by afflictions, actions, fruitions, or residues that are left. Only if you do something, then there are residues left. It does nothing. It's just grace. Now, so this dedication to Ishwara, surrender to Ishwara, surrender to a higher, wise, omnipresent, omniscient being, is only one of the ways, psychological procedures to attain Samadhi. Why? Because the word va is added. Ishwara, pranidhanat, va, which means also there are other ways of doing. Now this Ishwara, being present from the beginning, before anything else was, and being omniscient and omnipresent, is not limited by time in any way. It is the teacher of the ones who came before. All great. Like Patanjali claims that his teacher was none other than the Purusha or the Ishwara. We know of no teacher for Patanjali, which doesn't mean there is no teacher. For all these important things, there is a teacher. So for Patanjali, Ishwara himself is the teacher. So now that kind of thing is rare. Patanjali, by teaching the Yoga Sutras, has made it clear that though it is rare, it is possible. This is what he wants to express, that it is possible. If you dedicate yourself to it fully, it's possible. Okay. Now, Sutra 27 says, however, While it is normally impossible to conceive of that Ishwara in the mind, because it is outside the grasp of the ordinary mind with all its fluctuations, there is one thing which might help you to cross the bridge in this world, which is not abstract but concrete. This is Sutra 27. Tasya vachaha pranava. There is a sound that can help you bridge the gap between you and that Supreme Ishvara, or bridge the gap between you with your limited mind, with its fluctuations, and that which is Kaivalya, which is the completely free mind without vrittis. There is a concrete thing available. It's not a thing, it's a sound available. And that sound is Pranava, Om. You would not have thought that Patanjali would have said this, but he has. What does he say? Tasya vachaha, tasya vachaka, Pranava. Pranava, the sound Pranava, Om, is the bridge between this seen and that unseen, this fluctuating mind and that unfluctuating Purusha, peaceful, blissful Purusha. There is one sound that can help you to go there. No other sound has been expressed anywhere in the Yoga Sutras except Pranava, Om. And Sutra 28 says, just following, Tat japas tad artha. Tat japas tad artha bhavanam. That means, therefore, a repetition of the sound and the realization of its purpose should be made. Tatha pratyak chetana adigamo api antaraya abhavascha. This inward consciousness is attained and obstacles do not arise if you understand that there is a sound that bridges you from here to there, and that sound is Pranava. Oh. Not only chanting or repetition of it, but also realizing the purpose of it. Now the purpose of it is a big thing, because Om. Therefore, in the next chapter, I have gone into Om in the Upanishads, which is the earliest that we can hear of. So, in Sutras 27, 28, and 29, as mentioned in chapter 4, it deals with Om, and Patanjali draws his sources as early as the Upanishads. Among the principal Upanishads that deal with Pranava, this is for you to do your homework. We Pranava or Om are one, Kathopanishad. This is homework, okay? Please don't say I didn't do my homework. I hated my mathematics class for some reason. So we had a wonderful maths teacher whose name was Gopalakrishna Iyer. Very fond of me, but he wanted to teach me lessons always. One day I didn't do my homework. So I said, what happened? You didn't do your homework, sir. I said, why? I said, sir, I thought there is no maths today. He put me out of the class. He said, one day you'll think the teacher is dead. Get out of my class. So, like that. Okay. So, Katha Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. This is for you to do your homework. Katha Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. And Adi Shankara has commented prolifically on Om, especially in his commentaries on the Karika of Gaudapada, on the Mandukya. And the Mandukya Upanishad, I'm not going to teach that, it's a completely different retreat, has only 12 slokas. It is the smallest of the Upanishad, but it describes what is Om. So, your homework you should do now. Now, I don't want to go into this because that is a completely 3-day retreat, Mandukya Upanishad. So, even though I have written in the book, I will only read you the first sloka of Mandukya. Om. This syllable is all this. Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. This indestructible Brahman sound, Om, is all that is here. Tasyopavakyanam, this is the description. Bhutam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarvam omkare vacha. Present, past and future, they are all part of Om. You start A, U and end. Plus that which is beyond the threefold, A, U and Ma, that is also Om. The thing which is unexpressed sound. This is how it goes. So we won't go into the slokas of the Mandukya. You can do your homework. I want to go to the Patanjali. Now Kathopanishad. Where is Om occurring in Kathopanishad? When the young fellow Nachiketas asks the Lord of Death Yama to the question, tell me which you see beyond right and wrong, beyond what is done and not done, beyond the past and the future. O Lord of Death, says the little Nachiketas, what do you see? What is it that is beyond all these? It is not affected by any of these. Yama says to him in Kathopanishad, that word which all the Vedas declare, Sarve Veda Yat Padam Amananti Tapamshi Sarvanicha. That word which all the Vedas declare, which all the austerities proclaim, all the tapas proclaim, desiring which people live the life of a student of the truth. Yad vadanti yat ichchando brahmacharyam charanti tatte. That for which people lead a life of brahmacharya, which means movement towards the Brahman, brahmacharya. That word I shall now declare to you. Tate padam samgrahena bhavimi bravimi. That I shall explain to you. What is that? Om iti etat. That is Om. Says Yama, the Lord of Death, trying to teach Nachiketas, the young boy, how to be free of death. Again, we cannot go into the Kathopanishad. It's a 1-week satsang. So, I'm just quoting to show how, while Patanjali says Om as a great tool to go into that, there are ancient Upanishads much before who declare about Om, about the sound. Now, please do not consider Om to be just a description. Consider more that it is a sound. Consider Om to be the Adi Shabda, starting with the A, which is Akshara, indestructible. In Sanskrit, alphabet is called Akshara. Like alphabet is alpha, beta, and so on. Like that, it's called Akshara because the sound A is supposed to be Akshara means that which cannot be destroyed, indestructible. So, the Prashna Upanishad also describes Om in the dialogue between Satyakama and the sage Vippalada. Satyakama asked, this interesting, the word Satyakama. There's this young boy whose name is Satyakama. Now, what is the meaning of Satyakama? Just imagine this ancient wisdom. We should really, Satyakama, a person whose only desire is for the truth. Satya is truth, Kama is desire. There's this young boy called Satyakama whose only desire is for the truth, nothing else is satisfied with. And there's a more interesting fact here. He doesn't know who his father is. His mother is Jabala. In fact, his full name is Satyakama Jabala. He doesn't know who his father is. My guess is some great rishi, we don't know. He doesn't know. So he goes to study. He wants to go to the great rishis and study wisdom, Satya. So he tells his mother, Mom, not mom, I don't know what he calls it. If I go there, they will ask me, first question, who is your father? What is his name? To see the lineage. Have you been to Bihar? Anybody from Bihar here? You go into the village, first thing, Ka Baradari Ba? Which family? They will ask me, who is my father? What should I tell them? Because I don't know, you don't know. You say you don't know, and I don't know. So how do I say who my father is? She says very bravely, tell them, my mother's name is Javala. I am known as Satyakama Javala. Teach me, if you like, the truth. So he goes and Vippalada teaches him the truth. You see, we are talking about ancient times when people's minds were wide open, not closed into a shell like today. Please think of the great sage Vyasa, who codified all the Vedas for us. Who was his mother? A fisherwoman. So Satyakama goes to Vippalada, the sage, and asks him, Venerable Sir, what world does he, who among men meditates on Om until the end of his life, win by that meditation? Please tell me, O great sage Vippalada, after everything has been sorted out, and Vippalada says, okay, fine, I'll teach you. Satyakama, Jabala, yes, I will teach you. He says, what is it that one who meditates on Om till the end of his life, win by that? Vippalada says to him, that which is the sound Om, O Satyakama, is verily the higher and the lower Brahman. Therefore, with this support alone does the wise person, reach. Why just now Satyakama Javala went to learn. Reach the other shore. So that is, which Upanishad? Prashna Upanishad. Now, since we'll come back for another session, because now I'm going to touch upon an ancient practice of how the Om is used to link from here to there. So maybe it's a good thing to break from theory a bit and come back. Enjoy fresh air. Um, okay. So when we come back, we are going to discuss the actual practice of Om. Now, all Upanishads have recommended. Patanjali has recommended. Every mantra has a pranava in front, Om. How do we chant this Om? Purely as it is, without connecting it with anything else, as the sound. Shabda Brahman. That we will discuss when we come back. I know I am 10 minutes late, but you will forgive me, right? We have to take off all these gadgets.